Welcome, welcome. Are we getting Peter in here as well?
Yeah, Pete will be joining me.
Okay, cool. So we'll hang tight till he's here, and then we'll get the show on the road.
Yep, and we'll be muting the chat, posting all the links so everybody can follow along, and
Sure.
we'll have some time perhaps towards the second half for some questions as well from the audience, so stick around. Okay, and we're also live on YouTube. Welcome everyone. We're streaming everything as always, guys, and we'll post the recordings in the main chat for anybody that missed it, and for anybody that missed past AMAs, they're all on our YouTube channel. Doesn't hurt to subscribe, you know, and follow our Twitter as well, guys. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of interesting teams, a lot of interesting projects. I know people are a little down with the bear market and everything, but I think I'm seeing a lot more people getting used to it. So it's looking good going forward, guys. Just you know, always stay optimistic. There's always opportunities. There's always something super cool just around the corner.
Always opportunities. Couldn't have said that better myself, man.
Yeah, I see people, you know, they're hoping that people at the start of the year, you know, saying, oh, we're going into the autumn and we'll see some nice uptrends and all this and that, and now they're kind of down and they're not seeing what they were hoping for, but I think we're in a pretty good place. I think we're seeing a lot of super strong teams, super strong projects, you know, still building and taking like full advantage of this kind of cool down period that we always see in crypto. So it's exciting. Oh, I think Peter's in here. Let's see. I've unmuted him.
Nice. Peter, welcome.
Yeah.
Rick, welcome. All right, on. There you are.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Go ahead and get the Telegram recording started. Good afternoon, Whale Coin Talk community. My name is Noah. I'm here today with Peter and Rich of the Simple DeFi ecosystem. Gentlemen, before we get started, do you want to give us a quick background of yourselves and how you found yourselves working in the industry?
Sure. Let me kick it off. I've been around for over a decade now. Since Mt. Gox, I was buying Bitcoin, trading Bitcoin. Unfortunately, not holding enough of it since it was $5. I've been involved in this space professionally for a little over 5 years now. I started off working at Shapeshift.io under Eric Voorhees and with that crew. And then I founded one of the first the first privately owned centralized exchange on the Binance cloud architecture. And that's still going strong today. Some of you might know it as Mandala. And then I'm a certified Bitcoin professional. I hail from Denver, Colorado. And we've been building this project for a little over a year. Pete, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can.
Hey, no. Yeah, so what's my cohort? I'm going to say 2018, where I got started getting a good understanding. I was watching Bitcoin since well before that, but really what opened my eyes was just the opportunity for tokenized economies, and that fascinates me because I've got an economics background, and you know, saw that the combination of the tech plus the new business models that are possible with blockchain and smart contracts. That got me really excited in 2018. Started getting upskilled on it. Alex, our CTO, and I go way back. We've known each other for over 20 years, and we always knew we were going to do a project together. Just nothing really clicked for us as we hung out until until Simple DeFi happened. But the trigger was Web3 and the ability to build really new economies, new models, and take advantage of we think is going to be the future.
Right on. And gentlemen, let's dive in. Tell us everything we need to know about Simple DeFi. Give us an overarching overview, and then we can jump into the nuts and bolts of things.
Yeah, you got it. I'm just going to share a screen here and show you guys a couple of slides. Trying to get in presentation mode here. Give me one sec. It's not allowing me to do that.
Take your time.
Yeah. Anybody know how to get a presentation mode on PowerPoint?
That's a good question. I haven't used PowerPoint in a while, but
hang on one second.
Maybe
Let me get off screen here real quick.
Maybe it's in slideshow. See the slideshow button, hit that, and that'll probably throw you into presentation mode.
I tried that, but it's not working. It's not working.
Oh, we're identifying new dimensions, it looks like.
What is going on here, guys?
Yeah.
Hang on one second.
We got Gabriel in here too from Simple DeFi. What's up, Gabriel?
Hey, what's up? Thank you for letting me speak. I just wanted to say, Pete, you can go at the right bottom of the presentation, and you'll be able to see the button that allows you.
All right, sorry about that, everyone. I've actually lost my ability to share here. Hang on one second. So, Gabriel, when I hit share screen, you guys can see the whole thing.
Yep,
I want to be able to just
now
open the one slide, but it won't let me do it here.
Right bottom of the text.
You should have it now, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Click on the...
Does that work now?
Yeah, it is screen shared, but as you can see at the right bottom of the presentation, there is just that slide, 0 from 100. You can see it.
Yeah, I got it right here, but when I press that button, nothing happens.
Oh, okay. Okay, then it's supposed to be the slideshow at the top of the presentation. Yeah,
let me do this 1 second.
Yeah. It's home, insert, draw, design, and then you should be able to see slideshow.
I'm going to put it in slideshow first, and then that should do it.
Yeah.
No, that's not working either. Hold on 1 second. It should just allow me to open up and go to... So can everybody see all the slides sorted right now?
Yes.
So I'm not sure why it's not allowing me to go to slide sorter view, because when I hit the button on my PC, which I just did, can you now see just the one screen?
No, we still see the sorter.
All right. Well, let's try here.
Or just try pressing F5.
Why don't we get that sorted out and talk about something else for a minute? How's that?
Sure. Yeah, fantastic.
So, yeah, let me, while Pete's sorting that out, you can just ignore the screen being shared for a moment. So Simple DeFi started a little over a year ago building from scratch. Our first dApp is essentially, it's chain and DEX agnostic, but what it is a yield farming aggregator and yield earning engine. And that includes liquidity pools, that includes farms across all the chains, the AMMs and the DEXs, with some automation and functionality. and some reporting functionality that you can't find anywhere else. So we've built it from the ground up. We haven't forked any code. We're not a Uniswap fork. And we've actually come out of public beta today. So you will be able to actively use our first product in our broader ecosystem and roadmap.
So let me ask you this. When I open up Simple DeFi and I'm looking through the various different farms, it looks very similar to PancakeSwap. And I do see here that not the actual interface. I'm just talking about the farms and the pairs. And I do see that it says they're all from PancakeSwap. Are you guys planning on integrating farms? You did say across chains. Other farms from other chains in the near future? Or are you sticking with BSC for now?
No, so we built on BSC first as a matter of practicality, and that was just at the time when we started building Ethereum gas fees. Although the greatest TVL exists on that chain, it was just for testing purposes going to mainnet. It was just not economically practical. So the first, we're any chain that is EVM compatible is something that we intend to support as long as it makes business sense. But so in fact, Ethereum is going to be the next chain that we support. But we originally rolled out on BNB chain, and then obviously Arbitrum, Optimism, Avalanche, even CeeLo, perhaps Hedera, anywhere that there's TVL Polygon, we're going to be supporting cross-chain functionality in one nice unified interface. Now, you said it looks similar to PancakeSwap, and that's because we're aggregating. We're pulling in the existing liquidity pools and farms from those ecosystems, and we're bringing them into one unified interface. Now, you're like, big deal, I can just go to them directly. Now, the difference is with the user experience and the user journey, we've distilled with our own proprietary code the act of yield farming, of entering and exiting a liquidity pool and managing your positions. By default, that would be 12 to 16 steps in and out of a position, and we've distilled that down to 3. So,
so with Simple DeFi right now, I can go. Let's say that I'm a plebe, and I really want to get some of this ETH EMB yield because I'm bullish on both, and it's 5% APY or APR, 5.6% APR, but I have no idea how liquidity pools work. I can, with Simple DeFi, just go expand that tab and invest my BNB directly, and it automatically allocates my BNB to 50% ETH, 50% BNB, and I'm yield farming. Easy as that.
Sure. I'm sharing my screen right now, and you can see the slide here. And this is just a comparative analysis at a high level of Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and QuickSwap. So they're all similar because by very nature they're forks of each other, as we know. So what we've done is we've distilled it down into 3 clicks. It's literally you click on the farm you want to get into, you choose the amount you want to invest, whatever that looks like. Whether it's 10, 20, 30, 50, 75, 100% of your available BNB in this case, if you're on the Binance Smart Chain, and then you click stake. So it's very, very easy to use, and it really enables that next generation. Right now, people like me, I understand how to yield farm and use DeFi, but I don't do so just because it's even a waste of my time. It's just, I'd have to manage it all day. I'd have to sit there actively. And then, going through all these steps, every time you want to make a change or modify your position, it makes it quite difficult. So I've got better things to do, quite frankly. So
was I spot on by saying that the BNB is automatically allocated 50-50? Just curious to know what's going on in the back end.
No, you're absolutely right. So you just input. The input is BNB, and then the output is back into BNB. So if you think of all of the miscellaneous coins with liquidity pools and farms on PancakeSwap in particular, but more broadly Binance Smart Chain, and then all the other dexes. We manage all of that on the back end. So that's really the load that that's the burden that we've taken off of the user. And that's how we're able to distill that down to just 3 clicks.
Well, I think this is so cool. And I'd be curious to know if you're going to add the ability to do this with stablecoin at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. We've already been thinking about that, and in fact, it goes one step further. But yeah, so the input coin and then the settlement coin, we're going to we plan in the future to allow people to enter and exit a position in the coin of their choosing, and that includes even a partner if they want to white label our solution, and we can talk about that a little bit more, or Pete can talk about that. But say you want to enter in, I don't know, BUSD, and you want to settle in BUSD, we're going to be enabling that sort of functionality. But cool. Right now, just coming out of beta, and the app is live. It's audited. It's secure. It's ready to go. We've just no longer declared it a beta as of very recently. So it's now V1, and it's ready to use. It's open to the public.
Fantastic. This is exciting. I mean, I love yield farming, and to be able to do it in a click or in a couple clicks versus 16, as you put it, is a game changer. Is there anything that we should know with respect to the Easy token, though? I mean, none of you guys have your own native token, and be curious to know what kind of utilities it provides with respect to their overall ecosystem. Because the devil's advocate in me is wondering, well, why even have a token at all? This seems like it works fine just by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So our token is, Pete, did you say something?
No, go ahead, Rich. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Pete, why don't you speak to the utility, because I've got the file here and I'm going to go and pull up the right one. So,
Rich, I noticed you're able to present, so I don't know if it's a setting issue on my end. So if you can get the deck up in a second here, and then I can go through it for everyone. But I will answer. Let me answer Noah's question on the token. So our Easy token has a ton of utility. The way we've set up the platform is we've got dApps for retail and institutions, which we're going to demo in a second, our Easy Vaults. Those generate fees. Our token holders have the opportunity for revenue generation off of the token. There's staking rewards. There's also user rewards and feature unlocks. Now, we generate fees a few different ways. One is from the Easy Vaults themselves, but we also have services that we provide to Web3 projects. So I'll talk about that as well in a second. Okay, looks like Rich has the deck up. So let us walk to everybody for the mishap here. But I'll just take 5 minutes to go over these slides and we'll do the demo for you. So Rich, can you go to the next slide? And I got a couple of animations there. So what essentially, we've talked about the Easy Vaults for everyone on the call here, but essentially what we're looking to build is a multi-service DeFi ecosystem that increases adoption and liquidity of digital assets. The reason for that, Rich, if you click there, you'll see there's only $54 billion in TVL locked in DeFi right now in a $1 trillion market. What the problem is, we've got low interaction because it's very difficult to use these DEXs. So when Alex and I got together and then brought Rich in after, the opportunity that we saw was, there's this wonderful ecosystem in Web3 that allows anyone to participate in a project, bring liquidity, earn rewards, earn an APY off of projects that they participate in. Projects want to attract and need to attract liquidity, basically to kick off their project and remain viable. So it's a beautiful model in terms of how we can help Web3 grow and thrive. But the issue is we're relying on the DEXs. And Rich, if you go to the next slide, this is what we were talking about earlier. The DEXs are essentially the middleman in that whole process, where everybody's relying on the DEXs to enable this liquidity. And the problem with the DEXs is they're complicated. They're very time consuming to use, run by mostly anonymous teams. We've got a beta group of a couple hundred people, a lot of crypto OGs in there and technical people. And some of them don't yield farm, not because they can't figure it out and learn it, but they don't want to invest the time and effort in doing so. And they also, frankly, don't trust anonymous teams. They'd rather be dealing with docs teams. So there's a lot of issues going on with the DEXs where on the retail side and the institutional side, it's just too difficult to earn all those rewards and fees, even though everybody wants to. And on the project side, they are relying on the DEXs to attract that liquidity. And of course, liquidity is the lifeblood of a project in terms of its sustainability. If you want to click again, Rich. So that's kind of a summary as to what's happening. So that's why we built the Easy Vaults. And Rich, throw it up on the next slide. It's just animated there. So what we did was we took we basically built vaults on top of all the dexes. So we started with PancakeSwap, Noah, as you asked, and we're going to go multi-dex, multi-chain, and we're going to build on top of the biggest dexes out there, EVM compatible to start, and the team has set up our architecture and our platform in a way that allows us to easily integrate dexes and chains as we go. So that's the initial model here. And we started with PancakeSwap on BNB chain because we started building this platform about a year ago. This is not forked code. Everything's been built and designed from scratch. So we've got $1.1 billion in liquidity activated, dozens of farms to start, and we'll be adding Uniswap V2, Sushi, and QuickSwap Polygon in Q4. So that gives our community hundreds of vaults activated on a single UI. And I think next slide is triggering our demo here, Rich. So I'm gonna try to screen share again, but I think if I'm showing our app, it might work. It might be a PowerPoint issue on my side. So let's try this out.
Yeah, no problem. I've got it up as well.
Yeah, Rich, why don't you share the the UI, and we can go through it
right here.
And so we can expect Uniswap, QuickSwap, and SushiSwap integration all before the end of the year, yeah?
Yep, that's the plan. It's on the roadmap.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the interface, and I'm actually going to go ahead and close. I've got some farms open right now, as you can see. So this is what you'll be greeted with when you actually access our DApp. As you can see, I'm already farming a couple things, which is all well and good. And then if I'd like to, you guys can hear me, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Excellent. So this is just the standard interface. Right now, you can see we're just pulling in PancakeSwap farms. That will change. You will start to see DEXs, other DEXs on Binance Smart Chain, as well as other DEXs on other chains and some cross-chain compatibility there. So what this looks like at a high level is, let's say I want to open a BUSD BNB farm. Now, normally, again, this would take 12 to 16 clicks if you were to do it directly on PancakeSwap. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say, I've got a little bit of BNB in my MetaMask wallet. So let me open that up. Yep, I in fact have some. So I'm just going to go ahead and click, okay, I want to put this much BNB into this particular farm, and you can see some miscellaneous data associated to it, how much liquidity is already in there, what's the APR. This isn't a very high APR farm, but there are some that are well over, 400%. I think the highest one I've seen is 700 something percent.
Yeah, I see you in that M Hunt BM. I don't even know what that is, but it looks like the yield is enough for you to aim in there.
My general philosophy is if I'm going to test my own product, I might as well go for the highest APR, right? So anyway, BUSD BNB. So I'm going to enter this amount of BNB. I'm just going to click stake. It's preparing a transaction on the blockchain, and it's going to pop up my MetaMask wallet.
Rich, Peter, do you guys have any? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Ask a question by all means.
I was gonna just really quick. Do you guys have any major competitors? Are there other protocols doing the same thing as you guys?
The answer is yes and no. There are other aggregation platforms out there that allow for access to other yield farming opportunities. The difference is we've unified it into one cohesive interface and improved the user experience in a way that they have not. Because ultimately they're just pointing you back to PancakeSwap to actually fulfill the execution of the entry and exit of the farm or the LP, or even the single asset staking. But So, and I'm going to demonstrate. So I've only clicked, the amount. I clicked stake. This popped up, and it's just like, you sure you want to do this? Do you know what you're getting into? And then it's going to pull up. I don't know if you can actually see my MetaMask, but it's just loading right now. And I'm just in my MetaMask, and I'm going to click confirm.
And that transaction in progress window basically is what's happening behind the scenes is those other 12, 13, 14 steps that are manually required by the user on the DEXs.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
all
just, and there you go. You probably heard the ping. That was MetaMask saying, yeah, everything's complete. And there you go. So what this looks like on the blockchain, if I'm sharing the right screen. Just a second. Yeah, okay. So basically, this is the actual transaction that took place for me to enter the farm. And you can see all the steps that are going on here. So it's quite a complex smart contract, quite a complex transaction.
Rich, can you go back for a sec so we can show it? There's two functions that I want to make sure that the Whale Coin Talk community understands as well. There's two things that you cannot do right now anywhere in DeFi once you're active on one of these vaults. One is increase stake as quickly as you got into one of these vaults. And the second one is swapping from one vault all the way to another, even if you don't have their tokens. So the increased stake one is a pretty straightforward function. You see that button there. Rich has a few farms live right now. So that Cake B&B farm, the one on top there, if Rich wanted to just add more, add additional position to that farm, all he has to do is click what percentage of his stack he wants to throw at it, click increase, and then click confirm, and he's added to it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of times what you'll get, is people have maybe trickled into a project, or they're paying attention. They maybe put a little bit in watching, then they hear some good news. They want to add to their stake. Super easy way to do it now.
That's amazing, guys.
Waiting,
I mean,
there we go.
I can see this being a huge catalyst for lowering barrier to entry and allowing more people to participate in DeFi. Ladisel and I were just chatting privately about how the first time we tried to make our first LP pair, it took us forever. I mean, for me, it was I was like bashing my head against the keyboard at one point because it was so frustrating. I finally got it, and now it's pretty easy for me. But I can think of so many people that have tried and gave up, or just won't bother trying because it's not really something that they're willing to put the effort into, and this makes it seamless. So with all that said, with this being such a massive massive opportunity for people to participate, how are you guys marketing yourselves, and how are you guys generating exposure and getting your name out there and raising awareness for this?
Well, there's a number of things going on. We had an airdrop campaign that grew the community quite quickly. We've got, you just hit the nail on the head in terms of your experience. I would encourage everybody to go pull up the Medium article that we published today, titled, from degen dentist to mature DeFi user. And you'll see one of the members of our community that uses our product literally walk you through his journey in DeFi and how he wound up with simple DeFi in ways using our platform. So we have a number of those user interviews that we are going to be publishing every few days in the coming weeks. So people will see exactly what's going on in our community. We're sharing a ton of content going forward on the platform and where we're headed. And Noah, we're thinking long term here, like that swap in, swap out functionality. Those are things not available today that we think are just logical, evolutions to what the users are going to need and want going forward. So, if you're in a stable 5.6% BUSD BNB pool and everybody's just farming some yield right now in this current, bear market, neutral market, whatever you want to call it. But once things turn around, you want to swap out and go into something a little bit more aggressive, or you heard about a new project that launched and you want to get in on the high rewards as they launch, you could literally just swap out of the BUSD BNB pair that Rich has up there to any other farm. And it's just swap out, choose the vault, hit continue, and you're done. So those are functions and services that, we're going to continue to communicate.
Yeah. I'm actually demonstrating exactly what you said right now, Pete. So we're going from a cake. We're going in from a BUSD BNB farm. We're going straight to a cake BUSD farm, and we're doing it with, you don't have to unwind your position and then find the actual asset pair you want to go into and then dive back into it in 30 something clicks. So
that's so cool.
And this is current functionality, which is not available in DeFi. The rules-based engine, if you go to our white paper and you read about what we're doing with the rules-based engine, the next level for this is we want to automate all this. So, users will be able to program these parameters going forward. So I'll give you a specific use case. If BTC breaks $20,000, I want to enter into APRs that are north of 50%, put half my stack into this vault, half my stack into this vault, click enter, and our system will complete that transaction based on the parameters and triggers that the user inputted. So that's coming in V2.
Yeah, I think one of the key points there, and one of the first reasons we even thought of building this, we call it a rules engine internally, but it really is just a way of automating the management of your positions, is the key thing that keeps people from yield farming besides the complexity would just be impermanent loss, right? So, we'll have a system that says if impermanent loss is occurring, the way you calculate impermanent loss mathematically, if X is happening, I want you to do Y with that farm, whether it's liquidate, swap it to another farm, or, if you wanted to increase the stake, but I don't see why you would do that if you were getting impermanent loss. But that's the type of rules engine that we're talking about. So, and as you can see, we've got, I've got I've got 4 different farms open right now, and there's no limit. You can have 50 different farms open on 5 different chains is kind of the end game for this particular dApp.
Yeah, and no, I'd like to show everybody how this ties into the token as well. So Rich, if you don't mind just switching back, I'll just take a minute on that and then we can get to questions. Go back to the deck, Rich, and go to the token slide. So as Rich is doing that, for everyone on the call, we just shared the functionality here for retail institutions to earn yield off the platform. As we go multi-chain, multi-DEX, holders of the token are going to get feature unlocks. The staking and usage rewards are available already. Those are additional utilities. And then there will be fee sharing for people that are staking the token. Now, the fees will come from easy vaults and the simple swaps, which is what we just showed you here with our first dApp that we developed. But go to the next slide, Rich. I just want to share with everybody where we've kind of completed the circle and created a fully integrated tokenized economy. We have 3 additional services that we provide to Web3 projects, where those fees, just like Chainlink does, you have to pay in the native token. So these simple liquidity, simple governance, and Easy Lab are all products that we will be providing to Web3 projects, and the fees are charged in our Easy token. So we've completed that loop now for our stakers, that the revenue share coming off of the BD efforts that we're doing as well on the Web3 project side are also benefiting our token holders. So we've got buy pressure coming from the buyback and burn mechanism. We've got buy pressure from staking and from obviously they'll be trading on the token as there is with every token. And then we've got buy pressure from the fact that our clients, these Web3 projects, need to buy our Easy token to pay for the services.
So quite a number of utilities and different components that will undoubtedly offer price growth. Hopefully, if people keep on adopting your protocol. I can see the big picture. Gentlemen, are you planning on designing a mobile app?
Yes, so it's actually already web responsive. So if you were to just enter it with your browser, it would be working. But yeah, just porting that over to an app, that's once it's web responsive, that's the hard part. Once you just take a website that's already mobile ready and you port it over to an app, that's the easy part. But that's completely nothing new for our developers.
And Rich, Peter, I know that you all have a promotion happening right now, as well as a whitelist. Did you want to tell our community a bit about that? I shared the links in our main chat.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Noah. Rich, can you jump to the whitelist slide? We'll just share what we're doing for the Whale Coin Talk community here. Go the other way, Rich. It's at the end. There you go. One back. So what we've done is we've set up a custom link. Go one back, Rich, for the Whale Coin Talk community. Sorry, one forward, two forward, actually. Whitelist giveaway. Next slide. Next slide.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
So here's our whitelist promotion for the Whale Coin Talk community. We've got a link, and Noah will provide it to you. We're offering a 15% bonus for everyone that gets whitelisted. There'll be a whitelist opportunity for anyone that interacts with the platform in the next 96 hours. I think we have it up till Sunday midnight UTC set up. All the details will be on the form. And there's just a brief form to fill out. And if anybody wants to get whitelisted, that's all you need to do to take advantage of this promotion. Outside of that, we will be holding a token sale on in the next few days on GemPad, as well as our own internal launchpad. So for those that don't get whitelisted but still want to participate, more than welcome to join through that avenue as well.
Yeah, and the Google form that's linked also has a link to our white paper, our pitch deck. We have a general tokenomics paper as well. And then if you just want to learn a little bit about the team and who we are and our backgrounds, that link is there. And then a link to our first of multiple audits, along with some basic token information. So,
sure. And let's say that I get whitelisted, some of my friends get whitelisted, and the day comes to make our initial investments into this project. What's going to be the minimum and maximum contribution per wallet?
So depending on the round, and we're still playing around with the numbers, we haven't finalized the sale, so to speak, on the IDO platforms. But certainly we're not going to let anybody take the lion's share of a particular round. And I think the minimum would be something reasonable, like $100. I don't think anybody wants to throw $5 at something and lose half of it to gas. So.
Yeah, so minimum 100, Noah, and probably the max will be somewhere in the 3,000 to 5,000 range.
Hello? Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my mic. So, okay, the maximum you said is going to be from 500 to 1,000, that range.
The minimum will be 100. The max will be somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000.
3,000 and 5,000, excuse me.
Yeah.
And sorry, I was having technical difficulties with my headset there. So that's a reasonable maximum. And remind us again what we need to do in order to invest in the GemPad and the pink sale round. All we need to do is sign up for the whitelist with the form and participate in the next 4 days.
Yeah, so the form spells it out. It's just 3 steps. Fill out the form and you're already at the form. Just join our Telegram and that will alert you, or you can follow us on Twitter. We'll announce either way. The exact time and date of GemPad will be the first IDO launchpad that we do a sale on. And then just open a vault if you want that 15% bonus that we're offering to the Whale Coin Talk community, so that we can input your specific addresses and make sure that you qualify for that.
Great. Rich, Peter, I have a couple community members that have questions, but before I pass it on to them, is there anything that I haven't asked about that you guys want to share, or anything that we haven't discussed that you feel is important to emphasize?
Yeah, I think the big aspect here is just the quality and strength of our team. Pete, do you want to talk about our development team in particular, since Alex is our CTO and he's not with us, but I think it's our core strength. It's what makes us a little bit different.
Yeah, happy to. So I think Good point, Rich. Everybody will, I'm sure, will appreciate this as you learn about other projects and the issues. Our CTO and co-founder Alex wrote his first line of code when he was 8 years old. He's been building for decades, and the team around him, there's 9 total, 100% dedicated to the project, that are focused on building the ecosystem. That team has been together for 25 years. Why is that important? One of the things, I mean, I'm not the technical person on the team, but the one thing I've learned about building in general, especially in Web3, is you having the combination of infrastructure, architecture, design expertise, fintech, cybersec, TradFi, blockchain, smart contract expertise, and having that foundational knowledge and building across all of the past innovations out there from Web 2 back. All of it's kind of culminating together in Web 3 in order to create easy to use dApps that work well and can interact with the different chains and aren't slow and kludgy, and don't sometimes work, need goofy things like page refreshes, etc. You need a solid team to be able to pull that off, that knows what they're doing, and we've got the luxury of that in house. A lot of teams, what we've realized over the last couple of years, just being in the space, is there's a lot of teams out there building where there's a ton of turnover in the dev team, team. Sometimes there's a good portion of the team is part-time and working multiple projects. And as we all know, if you're working on a million things, it's hard to focus on one and do it well. And then lastly, there's a lot of young founder teams, 2, 3, 4 devs that have raised a bit of money and are trying to build a project. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we want to encourage the innovation in the space. But when you're trying to build a multi-dApp, multi-service ecosystem that can scale, having a team that's done it before is a huge plus. So just want to make sure everybody's aware of that as well.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. And gentlemen, again, my apologies. I'm having some technical difficulties on my end. I keep chopping in and out, but I wanted to get really quickly to Sayed and Western, who both had questions. Sayed, let's start with you first.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. Okay, so you mentioned about this rules-based engine and the risk management tool. So are these both the tool the same? And I also want to know that how will the risk management tool perform risk assessment to prevent any impermanent loss?
Sure. So impermanent loss is just at a high level, it's just a function of math. So you just constantly monitor the relative prices versus when you entered the position to determine if you're suffering impermanent loss. So it's just a function of having a microservice on the back end that's constantly monitoring that position, the relative prices when you entered that position versus the prices at the current state or the current block in this case. So yeah, the rules engine and the risk mitigation aspect of it are one and the same. The rules engine doesn't have to be used for risk mitigation. That's just one of the features and functionalities of it. But say you're a really big fan of Avalanche and Polygon, and you really don't like Binance Smart Chain for whatever reason. You can set up rules to just say, I want to be on the highest APY farms at all times on the Polygon network and their associated DEXs and ecosystems. And I also want to do the same for Avalanche, and I absolutely never want to touch Binance Smart Chain. So we can set that up so that if a new farm pops up with a higher APY, the system will automatically detect it, and it will move your position, as I demonstrated earlier, from one farm to the other, but it will do it automatically without, you don't have to be present and actively managing that position.
Got it. Thank you for explaining that. Another quick question. So I was just wondering that will you also allow lending and borrowing of any cryptocurrencies on your platform so users can provide collateral and get different kind of cryptocurrencies to invest in various farming pools as well?
Sure. That's something we're working on. We're assessing various ways to do that and looking at a number of partners and their APIs and SDKs and relative levels of risk. As far as single asset staking and or borrowing and lending, yes, it's on the roadmap. It's not anything that's going to happen in the next month or two, but we've already got a couple viable candidates who are willing to allow us to integrate that functionality via their APIs and their SDKs.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for answering. Over to you, Noah.
Thank you very much.
Western Beast, you're next, sir.
All right. Thanks, Noah. I actually just have two quick questions. On your roadmap, okay, the first one I have is that you made mention that there are some improvements you're actually going to add to the project, the robust global footprints, where you made mention that two active remaining planned things are going to be added. Can you give us a sneak peek onto these two things that are going to be added in the future?
Sure, Pete, do you want to take that one?
I'm sorry, you were cutting in and out. Could you repeat what the two items were?
That's what I'm saying. Those two items are not really mentioned. It's on the robust. Give me a second. The robust global footprint on your.
Oh, okay. The footprint and the architecture. That is basically the foundation of our platform.
Okay.
So let me walk you through that. So we don't rely on AWS to run our platform. We're not relying on cloud services at all, which is something that's common with a lot of the smaller Web3 projects. We've got a hybrid infrastructure that's fully decentralized to make sure that we maximize uptime. So we have our own infrastructure as well as the cloud-based services interconnected to make sure we maximize uptime. And then the architecture itself is microservices architecture that brings in price feeds from public and private oracles, and it's basically what the microservice architecture is doing in the deck is just summarizing for you how the team has designed the platform. And we talk about being built for uptime, security, and scale. Uptime, I'll give you one example where this is very relevant longer term. Our platform is talking directly to the smart contracts with the DEXs, not their front ends. So if the Pancake swap front end or the Uniswap front end goes down, say to a DNS hack or something like that, you will still be able to interact with the farms on those DEXs through simple DeFi by virtue of how the team has architected the platform. So there's certain conditions where you're always going to be able to interact through simple DeFi with all those DEXs, even if the DEX front end has gone down. So the global footprint and the architecture, those are already in place. They are the foundational layer of our platform. And the only part that's expanding there is, we want to decentralize it even further by going multi-continent.
Now, again, it's you guys you need to take time to design this. My next question will actually be on your intelligent swap routing, but I think I'm going to have to ask that in your Telegram group because I think we're low on time. Or can you give me a brief summary on the intelligent swap routing?
Sure, Rich, you want to take that?
Sure. So we do offer a white label solution to various partners. And let's say that partner is a centralized exchange, or maybe it's just a wallet that already has an existing swap feature. So what we would do in that case, like I spoke about earlier, that we can offer settlement, entry and settlement into these positions and various assets. Now, one step further, we can also route, because we have to source those assets. Let's say you enter a cake BNB farm, that means we need to go source those assets. So instead of sourcing them from the DEX, what we're able to do is source them through the partner's existing exchange functionality, whether that's a centralized exchange, whether that's a particular DEX that wants to partner up, or whether that's maybe a wallet. So it's just a way that we can add more value to partners if they want that functionality.
that's pretty cool. Thank you guys for answering the questions. I really appreciate detailed answers. Over to you now.
Okay, final audience questions of the AMA is going to be from Michael Wojciechowski. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Michael, you there?
Sorry. I think that incidentally I pressed the button. Sorry about that.
No worries. Oh, I guess Michael didn't have a question. He accidentally raised his hand. Okay, well that does bring us to the end of the AMA. Peter, Rich, I want to thank you guys so much for being with us today. I really enjoy what you've built. I think it's going to be a huge game changer for DeFi going forward. I think you guys did a fantastic job with the presentation. And before you go, leave us, again, for audience members that are joining in a bit late, leave us with a quick nugget of wisdom on your way out.
Sure. I'll give you a nugget of wisdom, and this is my personal opinion and not the company's opinion. There's a hash rate exodus, obviously, with the merge coming up, or the merge happening on the 15th. So you're going to see a lot of GPU mined proof of work chains, whether that's Ethereum Classic, ETH POW, maybe it's Ravencoin. I'll just say keep an eye on them. And that's my nugget of wisdom.
Okay, fantastic.
My nugget of wisdom is pay attention to what the team is building underneath the hood. The architecture, the whole system, and what the team is thinking about long term. Is there a focus there for that? And not to say that it has nothing to do with rug pulls or anything. It has to do with some projects have a really good business model, but they're not going to be able to execute because the teams are too small. They don't have the resources or the bench strength to deliver. And over time, what's going to happen is you do need ecosystems, not just protocols, to actually have a viable tokenized model that's going to work long term. So pay attention to the projects that are multi-service, have the bench strength to deliver against that, and that's where you get your best bang for the buck, I think.
All right, sorry, and that was Peter, and the previous gentleman was Rich. Got you guys mixed up.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, gentlemen, thank you again for being with us. Whale Coin Talk community. Remember that everything you hear on Whale Coin Talk is for educational and informational purposes only. We never get financial advice, so always do your own research and invest only what you're willing to lose. Gentlemen, again, thank you for being with us, and have a good one. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate your time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.